Do you think chocolate is just comfort, sweetness, something innocent you treat yourself to? What if I told you that behind every bite of chocolate lies a thousand-year history, some buried secrets, and modern practices that most people would find shocking? Today, you're going to discover 10 chilling chocolate secrets that span from ancient ceremonies to today's shady supply chains. These aren't rumors. They're real facts, scientific studies, and worldwide investigations. So strap in. This sweet treat has some very dark corners. 1. Ancient rituals. Chocolate as divine currency and sacrifice. More than 3,000 years ago, the Maya, Toltec, and Aztec people cultivated cacao, a drink so sacred it was called food of the gods. They traded the beans as currency and used the bitter cacao brew in religious ceremonies, offerings, burials, and worship of gods like Chua. In the Aztec Empire, cacao beans were one of the major tributes paid. At one point, over 980 loads of beans were collected annually, each load being 8,000 beans. People believed cacao had medicinal and aphrodisiacal qualities, but there were also counterfeiters, people who tried to pass off fake beans or adulterated cacao with trade. 2. Colonial rebrand. Sugar, milk, and European sweetening. Chocolate didn't always taste like candy. The bitter cacao drink was transformed by European colonial powers who introduced sugar and milk, which massively increased demand. As plantation economies grew, so did the exploitation of land and people. Cacao plantations required labor, land conversion, and often used enslaved or coerced labor. Historical sources across colonial records document this. Today's consumption patterns, favoring milk chocolate, sheet sugar-laden bars, stem from those colonial trade routes and sugar industries. What many people treat as indulgence is built partly on oppression, inequality, and environmental damage far back in history. By the 18th century, chocolate became a drink of elites in Europe, and later, an everyday treat for the masses. But this sweetening process also erased its cultural depth, transforming a sacred bitter ritual drink into a sugary commodity designed to sell, not to honor tradition. 3. Child labor and cocoa farming conditions. The modern chocolate industry remains haunted by child labor and unsafe conditions. Although precise numbers vary, recent reports say that in major cocoa-producing countries like Ivory Coast and Ghana, around 43% of children engage in dangerous work on cocoa farms. These children may carry heavy loads, use sharp machetes, or be exposed to pesticides without protection. Many farms are remote, with limited oversight, allowing abuse to proliferate. Despite promises from major chocolate brands to reform, some pledging to reduce the worst forms of child labor by large percentages by certain deadlines, progress has often been slow or stalled. Investigations by organizations like NORC at the University of Chicago estimate that over 1.5 million children are still working in cocoa farming. Many of them miss out on schooling, trapping them in cycles of poverty that perpetuate cheap chocolate for wealthier markets. It's exploitation hidden in plain sight. 4. Heavy metals, lead, cadmium, and food safety scandals. A large study from George Washington University and Consumer Lab analyzed 72 cocoa products over 8 years and found that a troubling number exceeded safe limits for heavy metals. Specifically, 43% of dark chocolate products tested had unacceptable lead levels under California's stricter rules, and 35% exceeded cadmium limits. This is especially alarming because dark chocolate is often consumed in larger portions, and because children, pregnant people, or those with compromised health are more vulnerable. Even some organic chocolates showed high contamination, revealing that organic certification doesn't always protect against polluted soil or post-harvest contamination. What makes this scarier is that metals like cadmium can accumulate in the body over years, affecting bones, kidneys, and development. So even if one bar doesn't hurt you immediately, consistent exposure may carry serious long-term health risks most chocolate lovers never consider while indulging. 5. Misleading labels, organic, fair trade, and hidden loopholes. When you see organic or fair trade stamped on a chocolate bar, you expect better ethics and safety. But often these labels hide loopholes. For example, some organic dark chocolates have some of the highest levels of heavy metal contamination. Fair trade deals may guarantee better wages, But many cocoa farmers remain underpaid, underinsured, and vulnerable to exploitation. It's also difficult to enforce standards across supply chains that span thousands of farms, remote regions, and multiple middlemen. Some farms may meet criteria in name, but not in practice. Some watchdogs argue that certifications are more about marketing than actual accountability. Because audits are costly and irregular, farmers may comply during inspection periods but revert to harmful practices afterward. This means your expensive ethical chocolate bar might not be as guilt-free as you think. 6. Environmental devastation, deforestation, soil depletion, and biodiversity loss. Cacao farming has driven large-scale deforestation in places like the Amazon and West Africa. Forests are cleared to make way for plantations, reducing biodiversity and increasing carbon emissions. While precise deforestation rates vary by region, environmental researchers warn that cacao expansion threatens ecosystems and endangered species. Soil depletion is another hidden cost. Continuous cacao monocultures, planting the same crop repeatedly, sap nutrients, requiring increased fertilizer usage, which in turn can lead to runoff and water pollution. The water tables in some cacao regions are stressed, and local communities face issues from pesticide drift and loss of native species. 7. Hidden calories and sugar overload. Dark chocolate doesn't always mean healthy. Many chocolate bars lean heavily on sugar, fats, and processings that neutralize the benefits of cacao. A common issue. Milk chocolate and chocolate candy often contain more sugar than actual cocoa solids. Frequent consumption of high-sugar chocolates contributes to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and other metabolic diseases. The sweetness masks poor nutritional value, lets consumers overeat, and downplays the harms in the name of indulgence. To put it in perspective, a single large chocolate bar can contain more sugar than the World Health Organization's recommended daily intake. That means enjoying just one treat could already push your sugar consumption past safe levels, something manufacturers rarely highlight in their glossy advertising. 8. Stimulants, additives, and allergens. Cacao naturally contains stimulants like caffeine and theobromine. While moderate amounts can provide energy, high or frequent intake, especially with dark chocolate, can cause insomnia, restlessness, heart rate spikes, or worsen anxiety in sensitive individuals. Additionally, many chocolate products include additives, emulsifiers, artificial flavors, preservatives. Some bars don't disclose all allergens clearly, exposing consumers with nut, soy, dairy, or cross-contamination risks. Even filling factories or packaging plants can introduce foreign fats or undeclared substances. Recent imported Dubai chocolate samples showed undeclared allergens and foreign oils instead of real chocolate in some cases. 9. Corporate funding and science bias. You often read articles claiming chocolate is good for heart health or full of antioxidants. But many of those studies are financed by chocolate or cocoa industry groups, which can introduce bias. Journalists and researchers point out that when industry funds a study, positive or neutral results are much more likely to be published, even if weaker or contradictory evidence exists. This file drawer effect means negative findings are less visible. Many meta-analyses on chocolate and health may overrepresent studies that show benefits, while underrepresenting ones showing hazards or null effects. This doesn't mean reject all research, but it means you must ask, who funded it? What were the conditions? 10. Modern scams, counterfeits, online frauds, and misleading marketing. As chocolate becomes a premium luxury good, scams have multiplied. Experts like Kaspersky warn about fake websites impersonating brands like Fix Dessert Chocolatier or delivery platforms like Deliveroo, taking prepayment for chocolate orders that never arrive. Imported chocolate samples tested in certain countries have been found to contain palm oil instead of cocoa butter, mold toxins, undeclared allergens, despite premium or luxury packaging. Consumers lured by visuals and branding are often misled. Brands claiming luxury, authentic, or imported may just be writing packaging and design. Authenticity often means very little unless independently verified. So there they are, the 10 chilling chocolate secrets you probably didn't know. From ancient rituals where cacao was worshipped, to modern supply chain horrors involving child labor, from the bitter truth of heavy metal contamination to the smoke and mirrors world of misleading labeling and online fraud. Chocolate is delicious, but far from innocent. If this video opened your eyes, share it so others can see what's behind the sweet wrapper. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, because there are more food secrets to uncover, and you deserve